Ladies and gentlemen, advocates, promoters, fighters, speakers, lovers of democracy, peace, and harmony, please listen why Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza deserves a Nobel Prize of Peace. Also, please search, read, and listen to historical governance and leaderships of the Great Lakes of Africa. You will find out that she deserves this prize. Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza was born on the 3rd of October 1968. She is a Rwandan politician. In 1997, Umuhoza joined the Republican Rally for Democracy in Rwanda. A year later, she became the president of its Netherlands branch, and in 2000, she was nominated president of RDR at the international level. From 2003 to 2006, she occupied the post of president of the Union of Rwandan Democratic Forces, French, Union des Forces Démocratiques Rwandaises, the main coalition of political opposition parties and personalities in exile, of which RDR was an active member. She served as chairwoman of the Unified Democratic Forces Party from 2006 to 2019. Married and a mother of 3, she trained in commercial law and accounting and graduated in business economics and corporate management in the Netherlands. Umuhoza worked as an official of an international accounting firm based in the Netherlands. She later on had to leave her husband and children in exile to go face and deal with her country's problems on ground. In April 2009, she resigned from her function to dedicate herself to a political career and started preparing to return to her home country to give her contribution in rebuilding the country. As an advocate for democracy and critic of President Paul Kagame, she was the UDF's candidate for the Rwandan 2010 presidential elections, but was ultimately arrested and sentenced to prison. A Sakharov Prize nominee, she served 8 years of a 15-year prison sentence in Kigali Central Prison on charges of terrorism and threatening national security. She was arrested and put in prison for several times while her intentions and fight were to bring reconciliation, justice, development, and democracy for all. After being arrested and detained, Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza, wearing an orange shirt and glasses, is shown handcuffs giving 2 thumbs up, a gesture of resilience and hope. Behind her, a window lets in soft light, while bold red text urgently proclaims SOS V Ingabire in danger. This striking image highlights her bravery and the critical need for support, underscoring why she truly deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for her courageous efforts and unwavering spirit in the fight for democracy. During her hearing, Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza, dressed in a delicate pink off-shoulder blouse, Rwandan prison uniform color, sits calmly in a courtroom with her hands clasped and restrained by handcuffs, surrounded by officials and observers in formal attire. Despite the serious legal environment and the presence of uniformed personnel, her composed demeanor reflects resilience and strength. Her situation underscores her deserving recognition for the Nobel Peace Prize, highlighting her courage and commitment to peace amid adversity. The solemn courtroom setting contrasts with her hopeful message, emphasizing the significance of her cause and the injustice she faces. Even if she is still in prison, she currently leads the Party Development and Liberty for All DALFA, with the focus to campaign for more political space and for development. Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza, the visionary founder and leader of the Dalfa Umurinzi Party, stands confidently at a podium draped with a green banner bearing her party's name. Dressed in a crisp white blazer over a vibrant green top, she passionately addresses the audience through a microphone. Behind her, 3 women dressed in coordinated green tops and white skirts listen attentively, reinforcing the unity and strength of the movement. Set against an outdoor backdrop with lush plants and a building, this formal gathering highlights her inspiring leadership and dedication, qualities that truly merit recognition with a Nobel Peace Prize. To emphasize this, let us for instance hear a message in Spanish given by the Association for Human Rights of Spain, APDHE.
A brief message in Spanish. Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza merece un Premio Nobel de la Paz. En la imagen, ella se encuentra hablando desde un podio durante un evento formal, con una gran pantalla detrás que muestra la fotografía de otra mujer y texto en español relacionado con los derechos humanos y Amnistía Internacional. La escena refleja un ambiente solemne y comprometido con la defensa de los derechos humanos a nivel mundial, subrayando la importancia de su labor en la promoción de la justicia y la paz internacional.
Truth cannot be silenced forever, and justice will prevail for all who fight for freedom.
It is true that Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Her supporters and followers have been fighting in many ways for freedom for all. For instance, let us analyze some of the symbols that have been used during demonstrations or strikes in Europe and other continents. This graphic design vividly depicts a clenched fist gripping a hammer and sickle, symbolizing resilience and unity. Set against a warm gradient backdrop, the outline of Rwanda stands out prominently. The text in Kinyarwanda announces Ingabire Day 2018, scheduled for December 12 to 14, highlighting discussions on political challenges in Rwanda. This powerful image embodies solidarity and activism, reflecting the spirit of Ingabire's commitment to peace and justice in her country. In fact, Ingabire has been facing the most difficult, violent, and dangerous dictatorships in the Great Lakes region. Let us describe the dictatorship relationships that exist amongst these Great Lakes region leaders, and how they greatly negatively affect the struggle for peace, democracy, and development that Ingabire Victoire and many others are fighting for. For instance, President Kagame Museveni of Uganda, his political partner and mentor for a long time, since 1986, they have been stealing electoral votes and imposing dictatorships in the Great Lakes region by creating rebellions, mercenaries, mafias, etc. Many of these above-mentioned groups are mainly based in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Rwanda is widely accused by the DRC, UN experts, and international observers of creating and backing rebel groups in eastern Congo, most prominently the M23 movement, providing them with troops, weapons, funding, and technology to control mineral-rich areas and destabilize the region despite Rwanda's denials and recent peace agreements. The M23 rebels have established parallel governments and seized strategic territory in North and South Kivu provinces, leading to a severe humanitarian crisis and ongoing conflict. Rwanda's role. Rwanda supports the M23 rebels with direct military assistance, including troops, training, and equipment, effectively controlling their operations, according to UN reports. Since 1994 now, Rwanda has been supporting many rebels groups such as ADFL of Laurent Desire Kabila, CNDP of Enkunda Batware, Twirwaneho Gumino Red Tabara from Burundi, FNL from Burundi, AFC of Corneille Nangaa, many my local groups among many others. Rwanda's involvement in Congo's conflicts spans decades, starting with the First Congo War from 1996 to 1997, and escalating into the devastating Second Congo War from 1998 to 2003, with ongoing support for rebel groups like M23 in eastern DRC, making its intervention effectively continuous since the mid-1990s, driven by security concern after the Rwandan genocide and resource interests. Key phases of involvement. First Congo War from 1996 to 1997. Rwanda intervened in Zaire, now DRC, to pursue Hutu extremists responsible for the Rwandan genocide, leading to the overthrow of Mobutu Sese Seko and installing Laurent Desire Kabila. Second Congo War from 1998 to 2003. After Kabila turned against Rwanda, supporting Hutu militias, Rwanda invaded again, backing rebels RCD in a massive regional conflict that drew in multiple nations, ending with Rwandan withdrawal in 2002 to 2003, but leaving instability. Post-2003 instability in M23. From 2012 to present, Despite formal peace, Rwanda continued supporting Congolese Tutsi rebels, notably the M23 group, leading to renewed fighting from 2012 and intensified conflict since 2022, with troops allegedly still present. Duration: Rwanda's direct military intervention in the major Congo wars ended around 2003, but its support for armed groups in eastern DRC has made its involvement a consistent, multi-decade issue, essentially from 1996 to the present day. Recent reports and visual evidence from early 2025 indicate a significant, intensified and well-equipped resurgence of the M23 rebel group in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, with substantial evidence pointing to support from the Rwanda Defense Force, RDF, and President Paul Kagame. While Kagame has officially denied direct involvement, UN reports and international observers have documented Rwandan troop presence, including the use of advanced weapons, drones, and surface-to-air missiles by M23/RDF forces. Below are key visual elements and context regarding the M23/Rwanda activity in the DRC. M23/RDF troop presence and movements. Reports indicate RDF troops have been geolocated in strategic areas, including Sake near Goma, and engaged in operations in North Kivu. Capture of strategic locations. Visuals from February 2025 show M23/RDF forces occupying areas like Bukavu and controlling border crossings such as Rusizi 1. Sophisticated military equipment. Images and reports highlight that the M23 rebels are equipped with high-grade weapons, including armored vehicles and drones, suggesting support beyond that of a typical militia. Infrastructure and supply routes. Satellite imagery has been used to show the widening of roads on the Congolese side of the border to facilitate logistics for Rwandan support. Humanitarian and security impact. Photos and video footage document the ongoing conflict, featuring fleeing civilians, displaced families, and scenes from fighting near key towns like Goma. For the most up-to-date, high-resolution imagery, professional news outlets and photojournalism archives such as Getty Images, Reuters, and AFP are the best. The conflict is fueled by control over vast mineral wealth, like coltan, diamond, gold, cobalt, copper, iron, zinc, tungsten, and many others. Unresolved ethnic tensions from the neighboring countries, and weak Congolese state institutions, making Eastern Congo a proxy battleground. As of January 2026, tensions remain high in eastern DRC, with Congolese forces reporting the capture of Rwandan soldiers and accusing Rwanda of backing M23 rebels, while Uvira was recently retaken from rebels following a supposed withdrawal, highlighting ongoing conflict despite peace talks, with the situation deeply rooted in regional instability, humanitarian crises, and proxy fighting. Key developments in early 2026 captured Rwandan soldiers. The FARDC, Congolese Army, presented captured Rwandan soldiers in January 2026, claiming they were involved in conflicts in North and South Kivu, reinforcing ongoing accusations against Rwanda. Uvira recapture. Congolese troops and pro-government militias, Wazalendo, re-entered Uvira in January 2026 after M23 rebels announced a withdrawal, though fighting persists in surrounding areas. Escalating conflict. Fighting continues in eastern DRC, with M23 rebels clashing with government forces and allied militias, creating significant displacement and humanitarian crises. The Congolese army said Monday on the 19th of January, 2026, it had regained control of the strategic eastern city of Uvira after Rwanda-backed M23 fighters withdrew, following days of shifting troop movements. The pullout ends weeks of rebel presence in the lakeside city near the Burundi border, seized during an M23 offensive in South Kivu province. That is the unfortunate current situation in Congo, but Victoire Ingabire's contribution to peace in Congo stems from her political advocacy in Rwanda, challenging President Kagame's narrative that justifies intervention in Congo by calling for honest reconciliation in Rwanda, demanding accountability for all victims of the 1994 genocide, Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa, and supporting a unified opposition to end Rwanda's destabilizing role in the Congo through peaceful means, not war. Now, let us analyze the Ugandan situation, how the current leaders of Rwanda helped the current ruling party of Museveni take power in Uganda since 1986 up to current date, and see how it affects peace and development in the region. In Uganda, Kagame played a crucial role in helping Yoweri Museveni come to power in Uganda in 1986, fighting alongside Museveni's National Resistance Army, NRA, as a senior officer and heading its intelligence wing, a period where Kagame developed his formidable military reputation and connections before leading the Rwandan Patriotic Front, RPF, to power in Rwanda. Kagame, a Rwandan refugee in Uganda, joined the NRA in the 1980s, helping overthrow Uganda's government and becoming a key figure in Museveni's military structure after the victory. Kagame's role in Museveni's rise, rebel fighter. Kagame was a founding member of Museveni's guerrilla force, the National Resistance Army, fighting against Idi Amin and then Milton Obote in Uganda. Intelligence chief. After Museveni's victory in 1986, Kagame became head of Uganda's military intelligence, feared for his strict enforcement of severe punishments, imprisonments, executions, torturous methods, and so on. Key ally. He was considered vital to Museveni's military, second only to Fred Rwigema, another Rwandan commander. Much like his longtime political ally Museveni of Uganda, both are accused of manipulating electoral processes and enforcing authoritarian rule in the Great Lakes region. As of current, Museveni has been proclaimed as a winner for the 40th presidential term since 1986, but opposition leaders such Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, known as Bobi Wine, his famous musician name, and many others have once again rejected the published electoral results, stating that votes rigged, stolen, and done, or held in very violent, cruel, criminal, and dangerous environments. That was to show who this caring, humble, intelligent, charismatic, and loving mother is dealing with. Let us analyze some other visible facts that affect Ingabire's initiatives and goals. For instance, President Paul Kagame has historically used derogatory language to refer to Rwandan opposition leader Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza, with reports indicating he has referred to her as that small woman or that little woman. Context of remarks. These remarks are often made in the context of Kagame dismissing her political opposition, particularly when she has challenged his rule or spoken out against his administration. Other derogatory terms. In addition to small woman, Kagame has also referred to her as a hooligan and criticized her, particularly regarding her positions on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Kagame's language toward her is viewed as a strategy to delegitimize her as a political contender and to assert dominance over opposition figures. Critics of Rwandan President Paul Kagame view his treatment of opposition leader Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza as a primary example of his regime's authoritarian nature, characterized by the suppression of dissent, unfair judicial proceedings, and the intimidation of political opponents. Key critics and organizations that have highlighted the persecution of Ingabire include Human Rights Watch, HRW, Africa Director Daniel Bikel and researcher Clementine de Montjoy have frequently condemned the prosecution of Ingabire as politically motivated, arguing it illustrates the government's refusal to allow for a genuine political opposition. HRW has documented how her trials were marred by questionable evidence and coerced witnesses. The African Court on Human and People's Rights. This court ruled that the Rwandan government violated Ingabire's rights to freedom of expression and to a proper defense during her 2010 to 2018 imprisonment. the Lantos Foundation for Human Rights and Justice. This organization has accused Kagame of holding Ingabire as a captive in Rwanda through legal maneuvering and keeping her under immense pressure, including long-term solitary confinement during her 8-year sentence. International observers and media, for example DW, The Times, Al Jazeera. These sources have highlighted the discrepancy between Kagame's reputation for economic development and the reality of his crackdown on challengers like Ingabire, who was barred from running against him. Victoire Ingabire herself. As a persistent critic, she has used her platform to call for democratic reform, accusing Kagame of silencing dissent through fear, imprisonment, and in some cases, the suspicious deaths of political opponents. Core criticisms regarding Ingabire's treatment: arbitrary detention and legal harassment. Critics point out that after serving 8 years of a regular 15-year sentence, following a 2018 pardon, she has been constantly monitored and in 2024 and 2025 faced new, politically motivated accusations of threatening national security, suppression of political space. She is seen as the face of Rwanda's fragmented opposition, and her continued inability to register her political party, DALFA Umurinzi, or contest elections, is cited as evidence that Kagame has closed all avenues for democratic challenge. Use of genocide ideology charges. Critics argue that Kagame's government weaponizes laws regarding the 1994 genocide to silence anyone, including Ingabire, who challenges the official narrative or calls for justice for all victims. Critics often contrast the 99% election victories of Kagame with the treatment of opponents like Ingabire to argue that Rwanda is a facade of consensus democracy. When it comes to gender equality in Rwanda, this picture describes what Kagame is doing or does his thing. President Kagame of Rwanda walks confidently across a stage adorned with a vibrant blue backdrop decorated with abstract geometric designs. Dressed in a sharp dark suit and a blue tie, and wearing elegant black high heels, he carries a small black handbag over his shoulder. The atmosphere suggests a formal event or conference, where Kagame exudes authority and control. President Kagame of Rwanda claims to have many women in parliament, but they have no say in front of him. He dictates them what to do. Despite claims of having many women in parliament, it is clear that he maintains strict dominance, dictating their actions. There are many portraits that can describe this situation. On the contrary, Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza stands confidently in a blue blazer and glasses, embodying her unwavering commitment to Rwanda's future. Beside her, a detailed list outlines her 5 main goals: promoting democratization, enhancing social capital, advancing decentralization, boosting public investment, and strengthening diplomatic ties. Her vision centers on governance reform, social justice, and regional unity, reflecting a profound dedication to peace and development. This portrait captures not only her poised presence, but also the powerful mission she champions, making her a deserving candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. Let us emphasize this again in the French language. A brief message in French.
Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza mérite un prix Nobel de la paix pour son engagement à promouvoir l'égalité des sexes et à autonomiser les femmes, comme le souligne l'affiche vibrante de la Journée internationale des femmes 2022. Elle se tient fièrement vêtue d'une robe verte, invitant à réfléchir sur la nécessité de briser le cycle de la pauvreté et de redonner dignité aux filles de la rue. Son rôle essentiel en tant que présidente de Dalfa Umurinza met en lumière son combat pour impliquer davantage les femmes dans l'éradication de la pauvreté et la construction d'une société plus juste.
Well, what is going on has been explained enough in many languages, but after all that is going on, why are some Western powerful countries silent on Ingabire Victoire's arrest and the chaos that is going on? Are these powerful countries being hypocritical? Are they ignorant? If yes, why? What are their ambitions? What are those powerful countries gaining from this? What is the best solution? Let us look at the situation and try to find a solution. The imprisonment of Rwandan opposition leader Victoire Ingabire, particularly her rearrest in June 2025, has been characterized by a notable, often strategic silence from powerful Western governments, despite strong condemnation from human rights organizations. Key findings regarding this situation as of late 2025. Rearrest and charges. Ingabire was rearrested in June 2025 shortly before her 2018 conditional release terms were set to end, accused of inciting public disorder and forming a criminal organization. This followed years of restrictions after her initial 8-year imprisonment for genocide ideology and conspiracy, charges that international observers previously condemned as politically motivated. Silence of Western powers. Despite the 2017 ruling by the African Court on Human and People's Rights that Rwanda violated her rights, many international partners, particularly Western nations, have maintained a strategic silence or muted response. Reasons for limited action. Diplomatic/economic interests. Critics argue that the West ignores Rwanda's dark side because of Paul Kagame's reputation as a commendable success story, with the country still receiving significant foreign aid. Geopolitical alignment. In 2025, while the U.S. and EU suspended some aid due to Rwanda's support for the M23 rebel group in the DRC, this scrutiny has not consistently translated into high-level public pressure regarding domestic political prisoners like Ingabire. Exceptions and advocacy. European Parliament. In September 2025, the European Parliament passed a resolution condemning the arrest as part of a broader crackdown on opposition, which the Rwandan parliament subsequently attacked. Human rights groups. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and Jambo ASBL have continued to demand her immediate release, highlighting that the crackdown violates freedoms of expression and association. Advocacy efforts. Family members have directly petitioned leaders, including an appeal to President Trump in August 2025, to address her imprisonment during diplomatic negotiations over the Great Lakes region. Critics argue that this inaction makes the international community complicit in the suppression of political dissent in Rwanda. Indeed, she deserves justice. Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza, depicted in contrasting images from 2010 and 2025, wearing a pink dress, a Rwandan prison uniform color, stands resolute amidst uniformed officials in a courtroom setting. Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza, a prominent Rwandan opposition leader, has faced severe and restrictive treatment during her detentions, which human rights organizations have condemned as politically motivated. Following her recent rearrest in June 2025, she is once again in detention in Kigali, with her legal team and international observers expressing concerns about her safety and the legality of her confinement. Current detention, from June 2025 to present, rearrest and charges. On June 19, 2025, Ingabire was arrested at her home in Kigali by the Rwanda Investigation Bureau, RIB, without a warrant, shortly after appearing as a witness in a trial involving members of her party. She is accused of creating a criminal organization and inciting public unrest, charges her lawyers call a continuation of a long process of intimidation. Detention conditions. She is held at a detention facility in Kigali. Concerns for safety. Lawyers and supporters have expressed fear for her life. Previous imprisonment, from 2010 to 2018, solitary confinement. During her initial 8-year sentence, from 2010 to 2018, Ingabire spent 5 years in solitary confinement at Kigali's 1930 maximum security prison. Harsh conditions. Reports indicate she was denied proper medical care, prohibited from contacting family abroad, and had restricted access to counsel. International condemnation. The African Court on Human and People's Rights ruled that her rights to freedom of expression and a fair trial were violated. Post-pardon restrictions, from 2018 to 2025. After receiving a presidential pardon in 2018, Ingabire was subject to severe restrictions that rights groups described as an open-air prison. Travel ban. She was forbidden from leaving Rwanda, preventing her from visiting her family in the Netherlands. Mandatory reporting. She was required to report to the local prosecutor once a month. Harassment. Her party, DALFA Umurinzi, was denied registration, and members were subjected to arrests and harassment. Following her 2025 arrest, she has once again been denied bail on the grounds that she is a flight risk, despite arguments to the contrary. Taking into account what has been presented and explained from the beginning of this video, let us conclude with a few remarks and good wishes for a better future. Ingabire Victoire Umuhoza's enduring struggle as a political dissident in Rwanda, marked by multiple arrests, underscores her steadfast dedication to advocating for freedom of expression and opinion. The Foundation Victoire pour la Paix champions her cause, calling for her release and honoring her courage. Her unwavering commitment to peace and justice amidst adversity makes her a deserving candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. We cannot just sit aside and look. Let us wish each other's new years to come with sincerity, actions, humor, love, and kindness as we try to live in peace, love, and harmony. Let us make the world a better place for all by providing justice, peace, and democracy for all. May Victoire Ingabire Umuhoza get out of prison safe and sound so she can continue her great work.
Truth cannot be silenced forever, and justice will prevail for all who fight for freedom. Be silenced forever, and justice will prevail for all who fight for